Boom. Look at that, man. You're never going to guess in your entire life who our guest on episode 7 of the Piggybank podcast is going to be. Man, I want you to scour your thoughts right now and imagine all the potential guests, and you're never going to guess this one unless he... Well, as I told you, so you already know. But it's our dearest friend, Aethil.
Telronum.
Telronum, the previous guild leader of one of the biggest guilds in classic World of Warcraft history, Singularity.
God, sometimes when I think about him, I just think about the massive piles of gold he was sitting on to fund Singularity single-handedly.
That's true.
That was very funny.
That's that goes into my like. Sometimes people will tell like there's nothing wrong with like embellishment, right? You know, maybe
I live my whole life off embellishment.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you fight fucking 3 people. You know, suddenly there's a half a guy added. You know, oh, there was a man in a wheelchair who's also part of the fight. You know, that's fine. But then there are just Telro moments where it's like, yeah, so I'm spending fucking 48,000 gold a fucking raid on our guild, and it's like, wait a minute, like,
and like being an officer too, I was like, when and where, like, you weren't online during the week. They're like, what, you know, where did this gold come from? You know, like when were you making all of these pots?
So I will actually defend Telro here. I think that your point there is actually a completely moot point because credit cards exist. And you can just buy that gold, right? You don't have to log into the game to spend that kind of gold, right? What I contest is the numbers that he was claiming to have spent on the guild, right? Because I spent a fuck ton of gold on the guild.
Yeah.
And it was like, I wasn't even scratching the surface of that. And my guild was getting like fucking 8 times the consumables. So...
yeah.
Something's not like maybe he's, you know, just the literal worst at, you know, math and purchasing points, but
I don't know. He strikes me as a purist and wouldn't go for the gold buying, but I don't know. You know, maybe everyone has a deep dark secret. So
yeah, his deep dark secret of doing what like 90% of the World of Warcraft player base has done.
It's actually insane to me how many people will openly admit they've bought gold too.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious.
It's like, I thought it was going to be like, okay, so there's probably going to be like 1 or 2 really big ones per like big circle of friends, you know.
No.
No, it's like all of them almost.
Well, I feel like all of the people that early on in Classic, like it wasn't as prevalent, and then as people, you know, would talk about it in game, they're like, oh, there's no repercussions for this.
Well,
like,
it's not saying no repercussions. Sometimes they take your horse away, okay?
Well, yeah, sometimes they do take your horse away, but like, was that based on, you know, they were using whatever algorithm they do to identify gold buying versus like monitoring your chat?
Oh, I mean, I never in-game talk about buying gold. I'm not like retarded, right?
Yeah.
So my understanding is that like they basically like there are like specific items they target whenever they like you get flagged for buying gold, right? So it's like BOEs that you haven't like newly acquired in your inventory and like mounts, because they assume that those are like easy things that you like spend the gold to buy. Because like that mount that I had, I didn't buy gold to get that mount. I had farmed the gold for that mount and like bought that forever ago. They took away my fucking 60% mount, right?
That wasn't blood money. That was good. That was good.
Wait, I thought you had 100% and they took away the 100% and you were on the poverty pony, or
No.
they took away your 60%?
So I had a Mechano Strider and then a Swift Palfrey, right? They took away the Swift Palfrey and the Mechano Strider, so then Bungie bought me a 60% shitter mount.
Okay.
Yeah. So fuck Blizzard for taking my 60% hard-earned mount. Unbelievable. I can't believe that I was accused of crimes I did not commit. I am innocent to this day. I never once bought gold. You cannot check my IG Vault account and look at how much gold was potentially purchased, because 0 was purchased. All right, I'm a good boy. I would never do such an awful crime. I will say I'm actually so pro bots and Indonesians. I feel like they've entered the economy so hard where it's like it's just impossible to not have gold now. Like there are a billion ways to go naturally get gold. When I say naturally, I mean like not buying gold. Like just go to a GDKP and leech off the other gold buyers. Like,
yeah, I would say too, like without all of that just farming and all of that stuff added into the economy, like prices of some things were inflated, I feel like, but a lot of other things just the prices were probably way lower than they would have been without all of these people farming just random stuff.
Your like actual physical materials that they could farm throughout the world are all going to be dirt cheap.
Yeah.
The only thing that sucked that they added was just the raw gold farms that they could do. Because when you just start pumping that much gold in, it's just not good.
Yeah.
But it was basically offset by the amount of just fucking herbs that they can go and get 24/7 on all 17 layers.
I always thought it was so funny. Like, people would like celebrate, like, yeah, like a new bot ban wave went out. And then you would admit, like, why are herbs fucking 15 times the price? Like, oh, I don't know, motherfucker, because real people have to go pick those plants now, you dumb fuck. Like, what do you mean? Like, there's a real human cost to it now. It's going to cost more. Like, fucking, when you can automate farming the goddamn gold, or farming the herbs, like, it's just inherently going to be cheaper because, like, there is no literal cost. But now it's like, no, Nodin has to go out there and fucking pick the goddamn like herb on her own, and she's gonna sell it for like what her time is worth. And real human time is worth more than a fake computer that isn't actually doing anything.
Yeah. I think whenever a big bot wave goes out, you see like the worst of all worlds, where the pure raw gold's already been injected, the prices have already been set, and then it's just like, now flip everything, now take away all the bonuses.
Yep.
I don't like, maybe I know Gravulus wasn't insulated from it, but I feel like, you know, you read like Discords or Reddit or whatever, and people are just like consumed with thinking about these bots, and I'm like, I like never saw them. Like, realistically, I didn't see that many bots like when I was running around the world or like going in and out of instances. And so I feel like, I don't know, that like the impact of it to the like mindset of the servers was just overstated because people would just think and talk about it.
Yeah. So this is this is like Grobulus Cope basically. We're super lucky. We have like a giant mega server, right? So our server isn't the actual farm server. Like all the shitty like lower pop servers are literally like waves and waves of bots, and then they're transferring over.
I remember starting a character on what was it? One of the small like shitty servers that had like low pop, and just even from the starter zone, I walked out and just saw like flying bots flying in the distance, and it's like, yeah, there's nobody to report them. Like, as shitty as reporting like actually doesn't work usually. When you have a mega server, you have 20 people see one bot, easy. When you have one person seeing 4,000 bots, it's like, well, your report means nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you're not going to trigger the auto filter.
I do love how they like. It reminds me of like Avatar, where it's like there's no war in Ba Sing Se, where they talk about like, oh no, like our report system is not automated. We have a real person, and then it's like there are 1,000 examples of like, yeah, can you 9 people report me, and then just suddenly gone, name change. It's like, yeah, no, of course it's not fucking. No, it's automated. Like, would you say it's automated? Holy fuck! It just took the fuck out of me when they don't just acknowledge it's automated.
No. Now, I mean,
we pay our algorithms very well, and they have great benefits.
Yes.
I've made tickets, and I've like had real GMs contact me and everything.
Oh, same.
But yeah, no, for the most part, all of their like report player for spam or report player for this is just automation.
I've had real automated GMs contact me.
No, the GM that I got into an argument with was a real motherfucker because he fucking banned me from opening more tickets for a while. Because so I got disconnected.
Was this the one where you kept opening the tickets about your boots or whatever?
No,
that taken.
That one, this was their literal solution. One day you might get your boots back, I guess. You know, good luck. No, this one was like, I got DC'd from a flight that I had spent like 40 silver on, or something, like 10 silver, who fucking knows the number was, whatever a flight costs, and I got DC'd. So I opened a ticket demanding a refund for this fucking flight, and he's like, we can't do that, we can't like generate currency, it's like against the rules. And I was like, I don't want you to generate currency, motherfucker. I want you to go log on to like a fucking human in Elwyn Forest, kill 7 boars, and mail me my fucking gold. Make this right. And he like closed the ticket. So I opened a fucking new one. It was the same guy. And he was like, I cannot do this. And I was like, can't or won't. And then he like closed the ticket, and then I wasn't allowed to open a ticket anymore. Really? So that was pretty cool. Okay, he won that round, but when I drive to the fucking Blizzard offices with a fucking ball peen hammer and I demand my fucking 47 silver, he's gonna be singing a different fucking tune. Although he's probably not in the Blizzard office, and it's probably somewhere in like Pakistan. But I'll find him.
Yeah.
Yeah, how hard
you'll drive there?
Down?
Yeah, exactly. My car, much like Jit's car, will make it there.
There's nothing wrong with my car. First of all, let's just
your car is literally has duct tape as a like. So if we made a pie chart of all the material your car was made out of, duct tape would be like a concerningly large piece of that pie.
It's fine.
It's not fine. It's the opposite of fine.
And for the record, in case Haley's wondering about this, it's not duct tape like the gray tape you use to tape things. It's like ductwork tape.
Oh my god, it's duct tape?
Yeah,
like
duct tape.
Oh yeah. My god, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It needs to handle the high heat.
That's fair. That is fair, actually.
So you like basically bought like speed tape for your fucking car?
I don't know what speed tape means.
Yeah, never heard of that.
Speed tape is like aluminum tape that they put on planes to cover up.
Oh, I see.
You're like in between maintenance to cover up.
Giving him an idea.
Yeah. I went in the back room and I found a roll of crumpled up like shiny tape that they use for ductwork, and I wrapped my muffler in it.
Wait, you stole this from your work? This wasn't even like you purchased this?
No, this was my own house's back room.
Oh,
I have very many things in the back rooms.
Okay, see, I misinterpreted. I thought what you were saying was you had gone to your work, went into the back room, and this looks like no one will probably need this, and then stole it.
No, that's definitely something I would do.
Yeah, I've done that a million times. That's 100% something. Yeah, if it's at your job and no one knows you're going to take it, it's free. That's just law.
Yeah,
it's allowed.
Like I just got another roll of packing tape. Never know when I'm going to need it. But
exactly.
there were 400 cases of it, so
yeah, and they're not going to. It'll go bad. Does tape go bad? I'm assuming the adhesive gets.
It probably goes bad
at some
after
point,
like an insane amount of time.
Yeah, I'm not like a scientist. So I just could not fucking tell you. More importantly, I've got two things to share. Actually, we'll just share one of these things. Do you guys ever have you ever put water on boiling oil, like hot oil, like cooking?
Like,
so
yeah.
like you wait, did you say yes, Jit?
Yeah.
Why?
Not on purpose.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying, of course. So yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you? That's how you cool down the oil.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So this was like 10 years ago. Our neighbor who was like 8 came over, and like he watched a video, I guess, where like they throw like water on an oil fire, and then obviously what happens is you then create a large fucking wave of black plumes of smoke, and it's really bad for you.
Yeah.
And so we explained to him like, oh yeah, like you can't pour water on fucking oil. Like if there's an oil fire, you gotta like suffocate the bitch instead of, praying to the Lord above that the water will save you. And he's like, okay, cool. And we start cooking, and but we like finished making whatever we were making, and we're like, okay, we'll clean up like in a bit, like once the oil is like cooled off, And he's like, I've got the solution. Don't worry. And he's got a cup of milk in his hand, and I remember being like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, don't worry. Like, we'll just clean it later. It's like fine. And then like as his arm is making the motion, my fucking brain realizes like, oh no, this child is throwing a cup of milk into a fucking like pan of hot oil, and I have never like just the slow motion of like no, followed by the immediate fucking explosion of oil and milk everywhere. That was not a fun day. I'm just like, Jesus fuck, like,
oh my god,
just being covered in hot oil, like fuck. Good times.
I always make sure to put out my electrical fires with water.
Yeah. I try and stand near sparking piece of electricity when I'm putting out fires with water as well.
Oh yeah, why not?
Those are my I shouldn't say favorite, but those videos always shock me, or like. Shock me, make me sad.
Oh, you're so good.
Thanks, dude. They're very like where like a telephone pole will go down, and like they'll try and like save someone who is like down near it. It's like, don't do that. like I can see the telephone wire like in the pool of water. And I've seen enough cartoons to know that this.
Yeah.
You're gonna like turn black and white and be a skeleton for a second when you step into that. Except unlike the cartoons, you're just fucking dead, mate.
If you can't see it, it's not gonna hurt you.
That's true. Yeah.
That too.
You know what they say? If you can't see it, it can't hurt you. Which is why if you close your eyes during a fire, you're fucking A-okay.
I think cartoons have actually done so much damage because of that. Because people are like, well, it's a cartoon. That's not how it works in real life. It's like, yeah, you won't flash different colors, but you will just...
Yeah. We won't see an outline of your skeleton, but you will, in fact, die and get cooked. So, probably don't do that. It's my advice to the kids of the world out there in terms of putting out fires with water. It's like...
It's daily safety talk from the Piggybank podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Have you guys ever dealt with fires? Like, big fires?
In what way are you asking if we've dealt with them?
Like, have you ever
like a controlled bonfire?
Yeah, let me clarify. Have you ever? Have there ever been an uncontrolled blaze that you're interacting with that you had to like put out?
No, I rely on the public services of the firefighters for that here in Canada. I don't know how it works in the States.
I don't rely on the Canadian firefighters, but I would rely on the
American
firefighters.
I don't know. Do you guys have like special insurance cards if you don't have it? When the
firefighters
they
show up with the like the thing where you scan your credit card on the fucking phone and if you...
Oh, sorry, this fire is out of network for us.
I don't know. Why else would you be dealing with blazing fires on your own? Single-handedly.
So the idea being that like obviously you would call a fire department, but it's like, if there's a fucking fire, you should probably like try to mitigate it before don't just be like, oh well, fuck, we can't do the fire department gets here. I guess we'll just go fuck off.
I think that's actually the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Well, I'm pretty sure the firefighters are a union job, and they'd be very angry if I was doing their work.
Yeah. I'm scabbing for the firefighters.
See, in my eyes, I live next to like a volunteer firefighter, and like I've had firefighters in my family and they've all said like, no, don't single-handedly try and do anything to mitigate a fire if it's like a blaze, as you would say.
Listen, it's panned out unbelievably well for us each time, all right? I'm not going to let my fucking garage get burned down with my house because I got to wait for some fucking dickhead who's fucking playing Xbox to get off the game and slide down a little pole and put on his little costume, okay? I'm going to put the fucking fire out. Fuck firefighters, dude.
Oh my god, anti-firefighter. I've roofs on once.
That's such a funny fucking, like... I've told this before. My dad is anti-firefighter, and it's so funny. Like, how the fuck could you possibly be anti-firefighter?
Well, I don't use it, so like, why the fuck should I pay for it?
Literally, one of the arguments that is made, and it's so fucking funny to me. Of like, just the idea of being anti-firefighter.
I am a strong, independent cowboy that don't need no firefighter.
Exactly. Fuck him, dude.
Back in the good days, we took care of our own fires.
Hell
and if
yeah.
we didn't, who cares? Jimmy would take care of it once it hit his house.
No, he would also wait for the firefighters to get there until the entire town is ablaze. You fucking cowards.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't like. Southern California, so I feel like brush fires are like way more common for me. Or I used to live there. R.I.P.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting take, living where your family lives.
Yeah. I know, yeah. So it's like, cause there were a lot of times where it's like, you would just see like, it'd be dry as fuck, and you would just see like smoke coming out of like some brush, and it's like, I'm gonna call the fire department, but I'm also gonna go step on this and like make sure I don't like lose the side of this mountain because of inaction.
Now, alright. Maybe I'm framing things wrong in my mind. You're talking about blazing fires, and then you're talking about being able to step on them.
Yeah. So
let's just let the record straight.
Let's redefine the terms here. So
what is a blazing fire to you?
Yeah, when I say a blazing fire, I mean like I don't know if holding something up probably wouldn't work well, but like if it's like, imagine your torso, right?
Yep.
So like if the fire goes up to your knee, I would call that like a blazing fire, right?
All right, we have vastly different definitions.
Obviously, I don't mean like the fucking house is on fire and there's like a fucking blaze coming out of each window. Like, fuck, I'm not going in there. Fuck that. Like,
that's this whole time I'm like,
okay.
Because then you use the example of like your garage is going up in flames. I'm like, oh fuck. So you got a bottle of water
imagine like a trash can being on fire because like some dickhead was smoking and like threw the cigarette out. Like, and you walk in there.
Is such just not blaze.
Yeah, I mean,
you just put it out.
Yeah, okay. We're on the same. I used the wrong words there, I think, is what the issue was. Because I think we're on the same side there.
Yeah.
I remember one time getting, so I fell asleep. I was back when I used to live in the garage. I fell asleep. And my brother had turned something on. And we were on, the room was, it was a garage we used to work out in all the time. So we had, foam pads across the entire, length of the garage. We didn't park our cars in there. Yep. We just, it was a at-home gym, right? And, he'd turned something on that got really hot. He hadn't fully plugged it in or something. So somehow the foam had gotten in between the connections and it got really fucking hot and it lit the fucking foam on fire. And so I just woke up to a room completely full of smoke and I couldn't see a fucking thing. I remember I had an app on my phone to open the garage door. I remember just opening it and just that vacuum of air just sucking it all out and just watching this so much smoke getting sucked out, being I was asleep in this. There is a
How many years of your life were taken off by the, hour or 30 minutes?
Yeah. Oxygen deprivation.
Dude,
it's fine.
What's crazy is so this probably will never happen to you, but fun fact, if you get exposed to that much not oxygen for a while, I happened to cut my foot maybe 5 in the process of getting the fuck out of the room, and I was bleeding and my blood was so fucking dark, black, fucking smoke almost. It was so bad. And then we just my brother had stolen a bunch of oxygen from his work, so we used that.
Were all these
steal it? It's free. It's just in the air.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
good. There was a chance that I literally would have I could have get detonated.
Would have got.
Now, I will say, he didn't necessarily, well, he did steal them, but hear me out, though, okay? Hear me out. He got it, so he worked for, he actually found a story online, if you look it up. It was in Glendale, Armenians, there we go. It was an Armenian ambulance company, and, one day he gets, a message from, one of his coworkers that is don't come back work never. It's what do you mean? What the fuck? And it turns out the FBI had, raided the place, and, my brother was, at the work, and, he got a second text from us, take whatever the fuck you want, get the fuck out of there. The FBI are coming, you're gonna go to, get the fuck out of there. Okay, just leave. Just fucking leave. And I was okay, and he just took a bunch of shit and left. And then, that company got taken away by the government. And then, 3 years later, they came back, and they're Cody, my friend, come work for us again. And he's no, the FBI made me stop working there at one point. I'm not coming back.
I 100% have gone back. I had dropped everything to go back with them.
You're a braver man than me, okay?
Well, you got a good warning head start the first time. You'll get another one the second time.
That's true. Maybe even a longer head start. That's how that works.
And now he knows to have a little corner where he puts all the stuff he wants to take if the FBI ever shows up.
That's true.
Easily rounded up.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. That's actually probably a question we can't ask Aethil about his if he's ever had any interactions with the FBI. I think we'd go to jail, and then we would be brought into a special room and hit with sticks until we talked.
I don't want to be hit with sticks.
Yeah, they're very At some point, have you ever been hit by a stink? Like hit with a switch?
No.
No,
I have not.
Oh,
I've been hit by sticks, but not a switch.
Yeah, have you ever been hit by a small rod, just fucking whacked in the fucking thigh or whatever with it? Because let me tell you, I understand how that is a very powerful tool of keeping people in line. Because that shit fucking hurt, okay? When we were kids, we were playing knights, and then it very quickly became we were playing prison, and I was a prisoner. And I didn't quite like being a prisoner.
Oh no. No, I've only been hit with the closest thing to a thin stick would be a deer's leg.
A deer's leg? Excuse me? Why do you have access to a deer's leg?
What do you mean? I have dogs.
Are they killing the deer?
No.
Are they coming and smacking you with a deer leg?
But you talk to the nice people who hunt deer, and then they give you the deer legs, and the dogs get the legs.
Now, that actually makes a lot of sense, because at my house, we have tons of deer legs, because we hunt deers. We give them to our dogs.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. But I also acknowledge that my experience is very far. Most people have not fired a gun or killed an animal. So,
I think deer legs is pretty standard.
I don't think that's pretty. I don't think. Aethil, have you ever held the leg of a deer in your hand?
No.
I'm curious.
So 2 out of 3. It's standard.
Yeah, but I'm abnormal. I don't like. Is your wife
We've
in the
got
room?
a huge sample size here. 2 out of 3. 60% of all people have held a deer leg in their hands.
Even if you remove the abnormalities, 50% of people in this call have held a deer leg.
I think we're both abnormalities, though.
Oh no. And well, going by that logic, 100% of people have never held a deer leg, and that's just not right. So obviously,
I would say 100% of normal people have never in their hands held a deer leg, and I will die upon that hill. I think.
Is this like a severed deer leg, or just like
Do you think the whole deer was still attached?
You fucking psycho.
Well, I mean, like if you go out hunting and you kill a deer and you're doing whatever, skinning it or like carrying it back or whatever, like you have to hold a deer leg, but it's still attached to the whole thing.
If you ever held the leg of a not alive deer, attached or unattached, I would say that holding that leg is probably a strange occurrence that most people have not like done. I think that of our entire guild, I would say probably 6 people have held a deer's leg after it has been slain. I want to know what
this list is. Who these 6 people are.
Who are the most likely?
The most likely. So it's like me and Jit are gimmies because we now know that we're murderers. I would need to see my roster. I feel like, Jackass, there's a chance he did some hillbilly shit.
Yeah.
That's in my head. I feel like Naz could also be a yeehaw.
He was in the Marines, so.
Yeah, well, I don't know if the Marines fight deer, so that could be.
What does Aethil know about
I mean, you got to protect the northern border.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't think that's where he was stationed. I don't think he was fighting off the Canadian invasion of deer.
We just send them routinely south.
Yeah.
Just to probe at your defenses.
Exactly. But I'd say probably 4. There's probably some wild cards. Like Quotes is 50-50. Quotes is like the fucking cold heart of a murderer. It turns out. Just zero remorse. Just
they're more about that eventually.
That was a phenomenal thing to witness. I liked how many people were uncomfortable with the killing of a rodent. It's like, no, it's a fucking rodent. Like, step on its fucking head until it dies, dude. Fuck them. Like, how are there people that are pro rodent? That is such a soft. I've never dealt with like an infestation of critters in my life. Like, oh my god, why would you not just take him outside so he can go back inside? What the fuck?
Yeah. Like, so you can find alternative entrances.
Yeah, like all you're doing is exactly. Yeah, it's just I fucking.
It's not like the rodent is gonna be like, oh wow, they're super nice. Like they could have killed me, but they didn't, and they put me back outside. Like I'm not gonna bother them anymore.
Exactly. I ought to respect their sovereignty as a fucking people and no longer step inside their domicile. No, he's a little fucking chipmunk squirrel, whatever the fuck he was, and he's gonna go, it's kind of warm in there. I'm gonna figure out how to get the fuck back in there. It's like, no, dude. Fuck that creature, okay? I would step on it if it was in my house, okay? I would squish him with my fucking shoes. Fuck rodents, okay?
And Man doesn't like rodents.
Yeah, I'm anti-rodent, dude. It's a hot take. I'm anti-rodent, okay?
You heard it here.
I'll fucking die on that hill, dude. Step on them fucking little rodent cunts. Fuck them, dude.
All right, so you've got quotes. Who's the next one on the list?
Truthfully, Spiv is probably up there. I feel like Spiv sometimes gives off vibes where I think that Spiv has like literally like just would. I imagine Spiv to just like there's like a rodent, like a little rat running across, like somehow it gets into her house and across her computer desk, and she just grabs that little motherfucker and just like breaks its neck and like tosses it in the garbage, like. Yeah, I think Spiv's got like the dark triad in her, dude. I feel like she's capable of a lot.
Killer instinct.
Yeah.
Honed after years of bullying girls in high school.
Yes, exactly. I love knowing that Spiv just fucking put some bitches in their fucking place. You know what I'm saying? Just taught them a lesson.
Well, no, that's a pretty good list so far. People, I think, would also touch them.
As far as I'm concerned, that's like the entire list. I could not tell you who the fuck else could have possibly have held a deer leg in their fucking hands. Because, I feel like all of our yokels are gone now. Like, Fathom isn't here anymore. Fathom for sure has held
Fathom's held them live, dead,
Yeah.
attached, unattached.
Yeah, dying, like, at his own
He's
hand.
held them in every stage of their life. He's held a lag of a deer.
I remember this one time they thought they had killed the deer and we were taking it to the back of the truck. And just with its last last ounce of life that it had, it kicked my dad in the chest and he fucking fell off the back of the truck. And it was like the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Just the fucking defiance of this deer was amazing. Just right to the fucking chest. Yeah, it was so fucking funny. Just there was like the initial fear of like, oh fuck, like is he dead? Like he just fell off like our lifted truck that's like 6 feet off the ground and just ate shit and then tumbled off, like, you know, because it's like I don't know if you know, like roads that are like lifted above, like the dirt roads that are like embankments. And like, so then he fell down the embankments. Like that motherfucker rolled like easily like 14 feet worth of fucking fall from one deer kick. And it was just like, damn, that deer really did fucking fight to the last breath. What a fucking champion.
A deer had a plan and he executed it flawlessly.
Yeah. Then we ate that dumb fucking deer. What a piece of shit. I remember.
And then you hung its head on your wall.
It probably was, I think it was a doe, so we didn't hang its head. But I remember.
Some decency.
My sister's a vegan, and she's been a vegan her entire life because when she was little, my mom was like, "You want some spaghetti?" And she's like, "Absolutely." This was like 5 minutes after watching Bambi. My mom's like, "Guess what?" And me being like 8 was like, "This is not going to pan out the way you think it is going to pan out, Mom. She is not going to be excited to find out that she's eating Bambi." Mom's like, "That's deer meat." And my sister just broke down in fucking tears. Like, what the fuck? Like, no! It's like, oh, yeah.
I just, like, yeah, you know, this character that you've, you know, gotten emotionally attached to throughout this, you know, hour and a half of this Disney movie. Like, you know what's similar to that? You're eating that right now.
Listen. Yokels they don't have like a good grasp on like what's a fucking dog shit terrible idea to tell children and what's a good one because they're fucking hillbilly retards. So
why don't they just understand adult logic?
Yeah. Why don't these dumb fucking children just understand? Yeah, it's. Sometimes I look at the things that my parents did growing up and just like, motherfucker, did you have no idea what you were doing? Like, how do I, as like a 20-year-old, know how to resolve this conflict much better than you did as a grown-ass adult? Like, what the fuck, dog?
Yeah, it's always wild. I remember also learning, like, I don't know, I came to this realization one day, and it just shifted everything I knew about, like, parenthood and lives.
What's that?
I always thought, like, oh, when you have a kid, there's probably a class you take on how to be a parent or something. There's nothing. I remember bringing that up, and my parents being like, no, they just fucking, you popped out and they gave me,
like
and then we left.
Your dad just fucking squirted in me, and then, like, a few months later, we had you, and I was still 24, and it's like, wait, when I was 24, I was playing Factorio. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah. I got, like, 4,000 hours in that game when I was 24, so what's going on with that?
Yeah, no, like... sorry, I go for it, Handsome.
I mean, I was just gonna say, you know, it is fair. Like, you know, when I was, 30, you know, I was killing Ragnaros, and my parents had already had me for 3 years, and it's like, you know, I'm killing Ragnaros, and they're like raising a child. Like, it's pretty comparable.
It's almost the same level of difficulty.
Like, my parents had me when they were like 24, dude. Fucking super young. And it's like, oh, this is why I turned out so unbelievably fucked. Like, you just had no clue how to... Do you ever, like... This feels like the biggest cope of all time, because it's probably, like... I guarantee you my children will say the exact same thing about me, but it's like, you ever just, like, realize, like, your parents just have, like, zero control over their emotions sometimes, or, like, just are not well put together individuals? You're like, wait a minute, like... you're just winging it, bro. You have no fucking idea. Like, sometimes you just get angry and you have no idea how to, like,
stop that
navigate those emotions. Like, what the fuck? It's so funny.
Or, like, it's just like the thought of, you know, like, this is what I'm gonna do because, like, this is what I'm gonna do, and not like, if I do this, how is the child going to view this?
Yes.
And like, what's the story they're gonna take from it? Because the adult's gonna be like, well, I did this, and like this makes sense to me, and thus this is the story that I took from it. But like, it can be a complete 180, and probably most of the times is with a kid that like the adult's like, I meant it to be this story, and the kid's like, I took it a complete 180.
Exactly.
If you have any subtlety in the story at all, or like the actions being taken, that a child has no idea.
Yeah, it's also the child doesn't have your life experience, so the child can't like, you know, will not always discern the same shit. Like
they're not looking through the same lens as you for
exactly
at all.
Yeah.
But what you were saying earlier, Dylan, about your parents had you at 24.
Yeah.
Mine were 22.
Base.
And I thought that was like standard.
Same.
Up until I was like 17, I think.
Yeah.
When I was talking to some classmates, and they're like, "Yeah, no, I'm going to my parents' 50th," and I was like, "What the fuck did you just say?" I'm like, "What? Why are your parents so old? Are you adopted?" And they're like, "No," and everyone else was like, "Yeah, my parents were like 48, 50, 51." I'm like, mine are like in their 30s, like just chilling.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think so just recently I think my parents are like in their mid 50s right now. And it's like, yeah, I remember in fucking high school, I had people in my high school that were like, their parents were like, in high school, in like elementary school, where their parents were like 50. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, first of all, your parents did zero research squirting you out at 47. There was like a 99% chance you have autism. It's fucking dog shit. Like,
bad odds.
Yeah. I find it so funny. Like, it's so fucked up to say, but it is so funny how quickly like the scale goes from like, you're fine to have a kid, oh fuck, like probably don't do that. And it's like, and then like, it compounds every year. It's like compounding interest of like fucking up your child, where it's like, you know, 25 you're chilling, 24 you're chill, or 26 chilling, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and it's like you get to 40 and it's like, just don't do this.
Well, the funniest thing too is like if you have a kid at you know, late 30s, early 40s, I'm pretty sure the medical term for it is a geriatric pregnancy. And so you're telling, you know, this like 38-year-old woman, oh yeah, you're having a geriatric pregnancy. It's like,
listen, I got some bad news, okay, buddy? The second a woman turns 27, brother, it's too late. You've missed your window. It's over. Okay.
Geriatric.
Oh, that shit's so funny.
But yeah, no, I think because I was reading about this for a while. I think at 35 is like where the magic number is, where it's like I think 4% chance of having like a significant issue.
Yeah.
And then it does double every year, so you go from like a 4%, you know, 1 in 25 to like 8%, 16%. It's like, oh shit, that's like nuts. All of a sudden,
like it kind of makes sense though, right? Because it's like, it's not like women create eggs, right? Like you fucking, when you load up your character, you have all the eggs like loaded up, right? And then just as the fucking women grow up, they're just starting to fucking shoot out their prime eggs. And then like when you're like 42, all you got left is some dusty ass fucking eggs that have been on the shelf for way too fucking long.
They're just in the reserves, just like, you know, we didn't think we'd ever need these ones.
Yeah, like, oh fuck. You know, I think that there needs to be a patch note where women just like spawn with like half the eggs they start with, because they're too many. They have too many. There's no fucking reason to have that many eggs. It's just complete waste. And now women are like with like birth control shit, like you're keeping even more eggs. You know, I don't know if that's how that works. You might still get rid of eggs.
Hoarding.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, you're like a dragon,
hoarding your eggs.
like with gold. It's unbelievable.
No, here's my hot fix. Just let them make their own eggs.
Yeah, the women should create eggs and then lay them.
It should be like a preset.
Every 5 days.
You get 500,000 eggs, and you're good luck.
Yeah, figure it out.
No, you just make a couple every month.
Is that how fucking cum works though? Like for example, like, so there was this guy I knew whose dad was like fucking 60 when he had him, and his mom was like 30 something, and it's like, does old cum go bad like eggs do? Do we know about that?
I don't think so.
Because
I think it's like generated often.
I would agree. I don't think that you start with a set amount of cum and then that's all that you get.
I want you to go through the motions of these thoughts. I just want to watch.
How funny would it be though if you just start with X amount of cum and that's all you have? Like,
check the reservoir.
Yeah, like
you're just bloated until you're like old. You just empty the tank
until you're old. What do you mean, brother? I'd have been out of cum when I was like 19, bro. I don't fucking know what life you were living. Holy shit!
No. I don't want to go blind.
Oh, that's such a funny thing to tell children. Like, if you come too much, you run out. You'll go blind. Not enough.
Take it from your eyes. The fucking meme of the like abstinence only sex ed teacher telling these kids, and the kid's like, "What if I have sex before marriage?" And she's like, "Well, I guess you're just gonna have to be okay with dying." It's like, what?
Yeah, it's the only way.
Yeah, listen, abstinence only 100% works. Never once has it been consistently proven to be a terrible way to do things. It's always worked out well, and
the best way to induce behavior in teenagers is to tell them they can't do something.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Teenagers respond well to it. Yes, they respond well to authority. They respect it. They would never disregard it. It's just, it's an absolute win for everyone, I think.
It's just completely logical.
That was a crazy thing for me to find out when, because Hannah's taking she's taking classes in high school.
Hannah is just girlfriend for those of us who are not in the loop,
Bay,
like myself.
You might have made me say Bay a few times. Anyways, Bay has taken some college courses in kids and defiance with the law and that.
Yeah.
She said you wouldn't imagine the amount of people who are like, wait, kids don't just respect authority figures automatically. That was a class-wide discussion that had to be had. I was like, okay, no, for 70% of you, somehow you've made it through life without realizing that teenagers don't like authority figures.
I mean, there are some people that do just inherently respect authority for its by virtue of it being authority, which is the world needs sheep, dude. So it's fine.
Well, and it's too, I feel like those people that are like, wait, kids don't respect authority, they're coming from an older generation where it's like, if kids did anything out of line, an adult would just beat them.
Yeah, would just fucking full send violence at them. Yeah, how crazy is that, dude? I obviously got the shit fucking whooped out of me as a child because I was a bad child. I don't think my parents did it. But I also have the cognitive ability to separate the violence they did to me from affecting me for the rest of my life, right? Most children don't have that ability, but I don't know. It's just so funny. It's oh yeah, my parents just got the shit beat out of them if they acted a fool. How fucking crazy is that?
Anytime I hear about my parents in high school or grade school even, my dad would say oh no, the nun would just beat me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I still remember kindergarten. Some kid was I don't know, couldn't sit still or something. The kindergarten teacher took him in the back and spanked him with this giant fucking paddle. And you as a kindergartner, granted it was a small private Christian Baptist Christian school.
Yeah.
And so, spankings are, what the Lord wants.
Yeah.
That's but at that time it's just yeah, that's normal. Yeah, he's being bad. He gets a spanking.
I forgot how much older you are than us when you just said that. It's oh yeah, you grew up with a generation where parents could just fucking hit their kids and no one cared.
Yeah, I don't know what year it changed.
90s. For sure, it's the 90s.
Because I feel yeah, for me, I did get spanked, and it didn't, it wasn't, I don't feel like I was an outlier, but at the same time, you definitely heard of kids that weren't spanked at about the same time frame that I was growing up.
Yeah. Well, I think roughly the mid to late 90s is when the don't hit your children craze really started to ruin America.
It's let's think about this for a minute. Maybe doing violence to children during the most formative stages of their life isn't a great strategy.
No, dude, just beat the shit out of the kid as fucking hard as you can. It's Giga Chad. It's the more I think about it, it's fucking insane. How for most of human history, if a child misbehaved, you just hit them really fucking hard, and it's this doesn't help them learn anything or develop ideals or anything. No, now you've taught the child that when they feel emotions, they should strike, and that's not what you're supposed to do. That's bad. It's just
yeah, and so like for the whatever percentage, large percentage of the population that doesn't have any self-reflection,
yes,
they're not gonna look back when they're older and they have kids and they're like, my parents did this, I shouldn't do that. They're just like, well, when they do this, my parents in my time, you know, did this, so that means, and I turned out fine, of course. Like, that means I should
you
hit
didn't
them
turn
as well.
out fine, buddy. Like, that's a bad. Yeah.
Spoiler.
I remember this was like halfway through high school when I figured this out. Was it like introspection? I thought every single person was endowed with introspection, and it turns out absolutely fucking not.
Oh, of course not. You know,
like,
and the best part too is like the absolute. Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit meta too, because as we're talking about introspection, I'm like, maybe we aren't introspective and we're just
we are. It's like,
but I feel like the introspection is like saying I'm an idiot.
Yes.
And but like just the absolute, you know, cope of people that are like, well, I turned out fine. It's like, no, maybe you should admit that there are some things that you should probably do differently.
Yeah. It's just, oh my god, dude. I thought I was talking about this before, but there were like two major points in my life where I like quickly realized that like most children are not thinking about aren't having like a meta analysis of like social situations like I was as a kid. Where I remember there was like the cool kid table with the popular kids, the football players, right? And I'm like a funny little silly little guy, so it's like everyone fucking likes me, right? And I like never thought of myself as cool, or I would think like, oh man, like, you know, Timmy is so much cooler than me. He's like, he's just so fucking cool. And then like that guy talking to me and being like, dude, you're just so cool. And then me being like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck? No, like, you dumbass, you're the cool one. You're on the football team.
Idiot.
And it's like, oh, coolness is not like a literal fucking thing. It's not like a possession that you get or like a stat that you build up. Like, it is all in the eyes of like the people that like think that you're cool. And it blew my mind as like a fucking 13-year-old kid to be like, wait a minute.
I am cool too.
No, not that. No, the people that I think are cool sometimes think that I'm cool. And it isn't because I'm cool. It's because they are also insecure little 13-year-olds like me looking for anyone to validate them. And it's like, oh, so if I'm just cool with everyone and make everyone be friends, people will think that I'm cool. And that's like, it worked out super fucking well. Yeah. It's a sneaky little life hack. But
yeah, just like the point at which you can like realize stuff like that is they're always like those turning points where you like look back at that point at previous things. You're like, wow, I just like completely did not understand that situation. I read it completely wrong. Like, oh, that person also didn't know what was going on. And I thought that they knew absolutely 100% what was going on. And they were just fumbling around in the dark as well.
Yeah. That was I was like super lucky that like I figured that out at like a super young age, but there are definitely still moments I can think back to where I'm like, God, I was so fucking cringe, dude. Like why the fuck would I like not, dude, 25-year-old me would have fucking dominated the social ladder of high school. Okay. I'd have been the coolest kid on this fucking planet. All right. They would have stood a chance. I'd have been so sick. Mainly because I have the ability to like be fucking normal now. Oh God. So when you guys were younger, were there ever like the weird kids in like elementary school and then like they just never got unweird? They just proceeded to keep being weird?
Not weirder and weirder. Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I used to always be like, they'll figure it out. Like they'll stop being weird eventually. And then I like find their Instagrams at 25 and I'm like, oh, I was just so wrong about that. I was just way off base. They never got normal. Ah, shit.
I just can't remember any weird kids, but no one talked to me, so no.
Yeah, I used to always eat the bugs. They were so tasty.
I love the dirt.
Yeah.
I feel like the reverse of that too is true and interesting. Like the kids from high school or middle school that you thought were like very cool or whatever, and then you're on 10 years later now, and you're like, wow, that person is still like 15, or they like completely went downhill and now they're just like an idiot.
Yeah, peaking in high school is unbelievably fucking cringe. That's like,
you really need to ride like the mid wave of that to have any chance in life in the future.
No, dude, no, you just keep going up. Like you like, no. If you're killing it, just keep going. Nothing is stopping you from continuing to be awesome as fuck. Just like, you have to be introspective, and you have to like, just always strive to be better.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like at that point, because like the high school, like post high school, like where you go with your life is, if you don't have like introspection at that, 20-ish, age 20 time frame in your life, like you're either gonna, if you don't have any introspection, you're just gonna continue on the same path, and like what you do post high school is not going to work like it did in high school. Yes. And so if you don't change yourself, your behavior, your personality, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
To, because you're just in a different ballgame.
Yeah, 100%. It shocks me how many people are incapable of change. Or like, you'll meet a motherfucker. Yeah, you always say this, where it's like, you'll meet them 10 years later, and it's like, oh, you never like stopped being 15. That's a suboptimal play there, Buster. That's you hate to see it.
I feel like what really worked for me, because I feel like so many people are like, well, I'm just this way, I'm just that way, I just get really angry, and it's like, if you recognize that about yourself, like you now have the ability to change it. Like it certainly takes work and perseverance, and it's not overnight, but like you should like get comfortable with change.
Yes.
Like if you can make your personality be like, I'm comfortable with changing, then like it just makes it so much easier, because you don't feel like you're tied up with any sort of I am this way type thing.
It goes back to like my parents, where it's like they just have zero control over their own emotions, and they freak the fuck out and like just like go into blind rages, right? It's like, yeah, I saw that as a child and immediately was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So anytime I would get mad, I would always just like stop and like, why am I mad? Like, okay, doesn't actually fucking matter. Just like, you're being a fucking spurg, stop doing that. And then, after enough times of focusing on that, like nothing bothers you. It is so hard to like in real life do something that upsets me or like gets me like actually just spurg the fuck out. You can do all kinds of like wild shit to me, and I just am so indifferent towards it. Whereas like there are some people that freak the fuck out over the smallest amount of stress will just make them crack like a fucking egg. I hate people like that. They drive me insane.
Yeah, I just like, you just hit that one time, or like someone else's experience that you reflect on, and then you're like, I just don't like being unconscious and like ruled by just these random emotions that you don't have any control over, like when they rise or fall.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, why don't I like, I don't want to be not in control. Like, what's in control? Like the random anger, or like you, the person?
Listen, sometimes, you wake up at 4 a.m. and you have an insatiable urge to eat a sandwich that's been out in the sun for the last like 13 hours. Okay. Sometimes the animal within just, unjokingly, my recollection of those, I literally woke up in like a cold sweat at like 4 a.m. with the most ravenous hunger I've ever had in my entire life. And that's why I ate that sandwich that had been in the sun for like 13 hours. Like, there was something in my brain, like a worm or something, that had crawled in there and was like, we need this sandwich to like survive.
The little devil on your shoulder. It's like,
no, it wasn't. It was like a like supernatural force was like commanding me to eat this fucking sandwich. I was like, I've never been that hungry in my life. And the only thing that could like satiate my fucking hunger was that sandwich. I don't know. I've never felt that before in my entire life. Well, I just remember like just being so fucking hungry for that sandwich. So there's probably like a parasite in my brain that's like slowly burrowing its way out.
From that sandwich also as well.
Well, yeah, his brothers were in that sandwich, and he wished for me to reunite him with his family. Although I'm assuming that like they got cooked in the hot sun, and then like he died of grief once he realized they were all dead after I ate the sandwich. That's my explanation for why I've never felt that feeling again. But that was like one of the most surreal feelings of my life. It literally felt like a demon inside me commanding me to do something. I understand how like schizos feel now when they like shoot their family. It's like, oh yeah, it's like that was like when I ate the sandwich, but this had like way worse consequences.
Yeah, there's much lower stakes here.
Yeah. Oh my god, I wish I could like you could like imprint feelings on people. If you guys could feel the ravenous hunger that I experienced in that moment, you also would have marched outside like the little Gestapo you are and fucking eaten that sandwich. It was
what was it about like that sandwich in particular versus like I don't know something else in the refrigerator?
You're asking me to quantify something I don't understand fully. I literally opened my eyes at 4 a.m. and like was commanded by like the demon of fucking sandwiches past to like, you have to eat this sandwich. You are so fucking hungry and this feeling will not go away unless you eat that sandwich. Dude, there was tons of food in the house that I really enjoyed eating, but for some reason, that sandwich, it spoke to me. It came to me in the night. Like, I don't know. That experience of eating that sandwich has like, I understand the motivations of so many villainous characters now of like, oh, like that's sandwich fever they have. Like, I understand it now. Like, their lust for power is sandwich fever. I get this. This makes sense to me. So, I hope you guys never wake up in the middle of the night with just a fucking need to like eat a sandwich of some kind.
I think I'm going to start preparing sandwiches in my fridge just in case it happens.
Listen.
You gotta leave it out of the fridge, though, is the key part.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to suffer the consequences of sandwich fever. I just want to be able to satiate
I'm going to be honest.
If you have sandwich fever, you have to deal with the consequences.
Exactly.
Like, you can't just get out of it scot-free.
I would eat that sandwich again in a heartbeat. No questions asked.
Oh, no.
The consequences that I suffered, which were like horrible, uncontrollable diarrhea for like 3 days, and then just being deathly sick and vomiting constantly, was worth the feeling of euphoria of eating that sandwich. That was my ayahuasca trip, was eating that sandwich. I fucking like time slowed down. I felt like I was falling into a pit, sinking for fucking eons, and then like 2 minutes had passed. It was a good time. Good sandwich.
If only there was like a substance you could have that would give you that sense of like euphoria with horrible side effects as well. I'd take it every day.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, listen, buddy. That sandwich fucking changed my life. Okay, that was I can't put into words, dude. That's the sandwich. It spoke to me. It commanded me to kill those children.
All right, so next gamer meeting, the birthday bash. We're all doing an ayahuasca trip.
Exactly. Dude, that'd be so fun. Actually, it would be awful. It'd be unbelievably terrible. There's no universe that would ever do ayahuasca.
Let's do like a shooting range into ayahuasca.
No, I would never let you guys near firearms, okay? There's just no shot. Unless I had like an instructor to watch, 2 instructors to watch each of you individually, there's just no shot.
2 instructors each.
Yeah, there's just no way. You fucking chitlins can't be trusted.
I feel like, the stakes are just so high when there's like so many other activities that you can do. Like, why does it have to be this one?
What about me, you, and Aethil? We can go down to an old range.
That's 3 people. I'm fine with that. That's whatever. I could not care less about that. But once you start getting to the point where I gotta watch Swift, I gotta watch May with a loaded firearm, I gotta watch Spid with a loaded firearm, I'm like, fuck no, dude.
I don't think that May would ever touch one, so.
Well, in this scenario, she would. So.
What is your maximum number of people? Like,
3.
Take your roster, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's just a hard 3, right? And what is the most people that you could hit with the most amount of trust at the same time? Like, a Swift tanks the trust meter all the way down to nothing. Swift will just shoot himself and then shoot Van, and Van will shoot fucking Dakota.
Yeah.
And Dakota's bad, all bad.
Okay. So you're saying what's my like A team?
This?
Yeah, how do I min max to get the most?
Yeah. How do you get the most people without losing, without giving yourself a fucking heart attack?
So are we applying the rules of like they would have to like make sense? So it's like, for example, like if you brought Van, you would have to bring Swiss and Dakota, right? You can't bring one or the other. And it's like, okay, that's a tough one. Aethil easily makes the roster, 100%.
Now, Aethil brings May. May doesn't have to touch the gun, but May's in the background watching.
Aethil is no longer brought onto my team because May will make a comment that will hurt my feelings, and I don't want that.
Sorry, Aethil, I killed it for you.
Let me see. That's a real fucking tough one. The circle of trust, because like, so my go-to immediate thought would be Nigel, but I've never spoken to this creature. I've never seen this creature. Nigel could be the biggest fucking spurg of all time, carrying around buckets of fucking little Bakugans she likes to play with, and like throwing them out and like, Bakugan, go! And it's like, oh, you're fucking unhinged. You're insane. Yeah. Okay? So I have no clue, because I've never actually heard Nigel speak, so I can't tell you if Nigel's fucking unhinged or not. Their behavior leads me to believe they're unbelievably unhinged, but they're also my closest confidant, so it's a tough one. I think it's just me. I take me to the shooting range, just one person, before we start to leak out trust. Because I'm looking at the roster here. There's just no.
You can leak out some trust. It's just you can't leak out too much trust, you know?
Yeah, so honestly, it's probably just Aethil. Aethil is the one person I take to the shooting range, and I don't feel like he's going to fucking shoot themselves in the head or me.
Well, because I've already had to do it before.
Listen, the military teaches you fuck all about firearm safety, okay? If they were any good at it, there wouldn't be this many vets shooting themselves, okay? They're doing a pretty fucking poor job.
Yeah, that's definitely because they're not teaching firearm safety versus...
Yeah. No, that's what it is. It's all firearm safety related issues. Yeah, these fucking they're playing with their guns too much because they think they're fucking soldiers still. You know, I love that take, by the way. There's probably someone with that take. Like, can you believe they're just playing with their guns? Just has no clue what PTSD is.
Yeah, they refuse to acknowledge its existence and the effects it has.
So basically, my dad.
Oh no,
dude, it's so funny to hear.
They're just not man enough.
Exactly. So yeah, God, it's so fucking funny because my dad is like clearly has like needs to learn to deal with his emotions. He's like, yeah, but for these fucking pussies, you know, all you gotta do is just go to work. That's all you have to do to cure depression. It's like, I don't think that's a very like optimal tool to cure depression is going to work. I think that actually might make it worse for a lot of people.
You just go to work and then until like one day you snap and commit a murder-suicide.
Yeah, or your heart just gives out from all the stress and you die. Like, there are a lot of options, you know? It's just, I love old people and their takes on the world. This shit is so funny. They're just so fucking lost in the sauce.
Oh, yeah, and just, you know, any like, sort of like, at least with, you know, the people that I've been around that are older, I don't have anyone that's like straight out saying racist stuff just blatantly, but it's just like all of the code words and you know
dog whistles
and everything. It's like, well, the urban people,
oh, no.
And they always have to say it like there's always a different intonation that goes with it. It can't, you know, they're not just like saying a sentence. There's always like a pause, an emphasis.
Yeah,
it's like just stop being
just say the
racist old person.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just there is something very funny about like I blame the beard for this. I think it's the beard's fault. There are a lot of times where I'll be out in public or like even like at college and someone will be saying something racist and they'll like look to me to like support them and it's like, what the fuck? Like, no, like what?
Absolutely.
Like
100%.
I'm not like, whoa, but I'm not on your team, redneck man. Like, what the fuck? It's like,
I remember.
You know what I mean, brother? It's like, I do not know what you mean, brother. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm unaware of the connotation of what is happening here.
Working in a factory with a big beard was like constantly, they'd like come into the office and be like, yeah, these fucking COVID rules, eh? They're horrible. And what do you think about that new guy down the lane? He doesn't look like he's from here. I'd be like, I'm gonna need you to leave the office real quick. Bye. I don't want to hear this.
I definitely got that a little bit too, like being in the military. They just assume you're going to be a certain way, having, you know, because you're in the military. It's like, no.
This is completely irrelevant, but as a level 77 prop paladin, I'm now being attacked by a level 80 Death Knight, and I don't think he's going to win, and I was at half health when we started.
Oh no. That's when you just give up. As the
believe in you.
Death Knight should give up.
Well, I'm currently at 72% now after putting light on him, and he's at 31% HP, so things are looking not very well for him, it would seem.
I'll never admit I've been the Death Knight in this situation, but hypothetically, if I were to be, I would Alt F4 the game, and then like go do something else until I forgot about the situation.
I see.
So I'm gonna pick a fight with someone lower level, and if I have an inkling of a chance that I'm gonna lose, it's just I wasn't gonna play this game anyways.
Yeah, so
I feel like for me, because I'm like not a PvPer, it just feels like I was listening to the Rooks podcast, and you guys were talking about road rage, and like I just want to get where I want to get to, and like taking a deviation for PvP, even to like gank a lobby, is like what? It's like I just want to get where I want to get to without any sort of like distraction.
Yeah,
well, they make servers for you. They're called PvE. You little fucking coward.
No, I agree with Aethil 100% base tag.
I mean, like I don't have a problem with like being on a PvP server, and if someone like I actually think that the like. Well, you get better players. You also do get more unhinged players that you have to encounter. But I don't know, I just feel like the overall, maybe it's just this is Grobulus Cope again, you know, because we did get very lucky with the server we picked. But just I don't mind the PvP. Just I don't really care about participating in it.
Yeah, same. I'm sorry. I'm just shocked at what just happened. The fight started with 37% HP. I thought about bubble hearthing, and then I was like, I'm gonna play this one out, and I'm now camping this man until he logs off the game. Just what a fucking animal. What a fucking.
Speaking of unhinged people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, buddy. I'm a firm believer. I don't gank anyone, but if you fuck with me and you lose, I'm now going to sit there and fuck with you until you like either call in your boys to fuck me up, or you like log off the game because fuck you.
Yeah, I do think that's like completely fair. Like, you know, if you gank someone and you know you kill them and then you move on, that's whatever. Like, that's just part of the PvP server. But like, I don't know, if you gank someone and then you just like sit there forever, it's like, why?
Some people listen. We get Creamery on here and Fieldings in here. They love to do that shit. They are very pro.
All right, bud.
Okay, dude. I remember talking to what's his name, Shans was here, and we were talking with Fieldings about the whole like concept of it all, and Shans like could not grasp when I said like, no, some people genuinely derive joy out of like griefing other people, and like Shans could not comprehend that like the reason Fieldings and Creamery do what they do is because they like knowing that the other person is having a bad time.
It was like an hour of like back and forth saying the exact same things over and over again.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's funny too. Would click. It was like Rosario was against me as well off the rip. Rosario was like, no, like that doesn't exist. That's not how people view things. You're being hard. And then like by the end, Rosario was like, oh fuck, like Creamery and Feelings are insane. They're fucking insane people. It's like, yeah, like I don't just derive this from nowhere, right? Like
I definitely understand that it exists. It's not like an idea that I can identify with in any sort of way
because you're normal and hinged,
but I do get that it exists, and like that's the end, you know, there's no like ulterior motivation or anything. It's just that
I can't find this Death Knight now. I'm pissed the fuck off. Oh, this is obviously at the very end, but this is the final update on the cotton candy pile in my room. This would be
did it move? I thought it was always on the left, or maybe I was always just watching a reverse.
Yeah, you're watching the mirrored version. But this is the last time you'll see it because I am. As soon as this podcast ends, I'm moving all my stuff into the basement downstairs. So
now, didn't that just flood?
Let's not.
Little teaser for next episode.
Yeah, when I'm waist deep.
Well, you see, that's great when his, brother catches another piece of foam on fire in the basement. It'll be flooded, so it'll just, problem solves itself.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's also now it's gonna be electrified because it was an electrical fire before.
Yeah.
I'll come over and dump some oil. Just add a little bit of fuel.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. All right.
Just get a big mix going.
This is the end. I love you all.